Hi everyone, today we are going to do our notes on weather fronts. So we are on page 5 in our notebook, and at the end of this lecture, you are going to have a graphic organizer describing the 4 different weather fronts that we're going to talk about this unit. So like always, I'm going to switch over to some slides so I can show you some better pictures, and the link to the slides is here below in the speaker notes. So a quick review of what we talked about yesterday was that yesterday we talked about air masses. And air masses are large bodies of air that have similar temperature and moisture. We looked how the 4 different air masses are split up in North America. Today, however, we're going to talk about fronts. And fronts are when these 2 air masses meet. So when a cold and a warm front meet, we describe what happens at that meeting point as a front. And that is where weather events will occur. And it depends on what kind of fronts meet each other and how they move together. That will depend what kind of weather we will get. So you can see in this picture, the direction of the fronts is going from left to right. In the first one, a cold front is pushing a warm front. In the second picture, a warm front is pushing a cold front. And both produce rain, but they're slightly different, which we're going to talk about today. So first off, a cold front uses these blue triangle symbols to describe a cold air mass moving in the direction of a warm air mass. It is fast moving. It causes thunderstorms and short periods of rain, and the cold air will stay in that area. So it moves by the cold air pushing and moving that warm air mass, which you also see in that graphic. Next, a warm front would bring longer periods of rain, drizzle, or snow, and that warm air remains. So you can think of this as like a warm rain versus a cold rain would be a cold front. And this warm rain occurs because the warm air that's moving from left to right in this case settles over the cold air and slowly pushes it away. And you can see that here, how in the graphic it's just kind of pushing until it's just warm air. And that movement will also cause some rain, drizzle, or possibly snow if it's the right temperature. Next, a stationary front has a red and blue symbol. And like the word stationary, to be stationed means to not move. So what happens in a stationary front is when you have a cold and a warm air mass coming together and they're pushing each other, but they're not moving. So as they're pushing each other, they're going to create a rainstorm in between them. And because they're not moving, it can rain for several days, and that could cause flooding in an area. So 2 air masses pushing against each other is a stationary front. It can cause flooding and severe weather for longer periods of time. The movement of a stationary front is when cold and warm air push against each other. Both air masses stay in place for several days, and that is why you might see flooding occur. Our last type of front is the occluded front. This symbol is purple and has triangles and the half circles. So an occluded front is a warm air mass getting stuck in between 2 cold air masses. And this can cause severe storms. So think about it is that there's warm air in the middle and 2 cold air masses come and just kind of bully that warm air in the middle, and that can cause really severe storms because of that tension between cold and warm air hitting each other. So you can see here in this picture as well, these two cold fronts are pushing this warm air up and then causes this big thunderstorm. So this chart is what I want you to have in your notebook because it kind of summarizes everything I said in a nice, simple way without getting too complicated. You can turn your book horizontal if you want more space, or if you think you can fit it in vertically, you're also welcome to do that. And if you have color, please try and color code your symbols so you remember the difference between the 4 different types of fronts. So to review, a cold front creates thunderstorms and rain. A warm front creates rain, drizzle, or snow. Stationary front can cause long periods of rain, which leads to flooding. And an occluded front can create severe storms with strong winds and heavy precipitation. So these are these big, angry thunderstorms or just really severe weather as well. So let me know if you have questions. And as always, the notes that I expect in your notebook are in our digital notebook here. You can click present to get a full screen so it's easier for you to copy down. Thank you.